Welcome to AlphaCars and Motorcycles. My name is Dmitry, and we have a gorgeous motorcycle to review today. We just got it in our inventory, and I'll just confirm, yes, it is a 2014. By the looks of it, it actually looks much newer, but it is a 2014 Suzuki VL800 with only 8,000 miles. Yes, it is a one-owner bike, very well cared for and maintained, has been through our service department, and we lucked out with the weather, so we decided to take a quick spin. I'll hand it over to Ian in just a moment after the little ride test we're gonna do, and he's gonna take you through the condition of the bike. It's in great condition, but we want to set your expectation. It has a little bit of patina and minor blemishes, so he's gonna show you all that. But we're gonna start right now from the cold start of the bike. This is the heat shield. This is actually the header pipe behind, and it is absolutely cold. So we're gonna do the cold start. Very comfortable bike. This is actually one of my favorite bikes. It's low to the ground. Ian will have a better spec, but it looks like it's maybe like 29 and a half. It feels like maybe 30 inch height, but and it's very, very comfortable. So let's put the key in and turn the ignition on. Fuel injected, disc brakes, very easy to hold the bike. We're gonna give it a start. We are in neutral, always check that. Starts right up. We're gonna give it, I don't know, like 30 seconds. We have almost half a tank. The odometer reads 8,744 miles. And it feels awesome. Smooth bike, but for a V bike, it is actually very, very smooth. Very smooth engagement too, gear engagement. Oh, and the clutch. As you can see, it grabs nicely about 3/4 inch off the handle. It just, you can feel, and it's very smooth and controllable. And it has so much torque, you don't even need to give it any, you don't have to give it any throttle. And we'll take it around on a little straightaway we have here, so we can shift the gears. It has a nice toe and hill, and the hill adjustment is very easy. So we're gonna check this out. It's just so smooth. And I think I just shifted without the clutch, and it was so smooth. And it handles nicely at low speed. And we'll give it a little bit of throttle. And plenty of power. Second gear, plenty of torque. Front brake feels nice. Rear brake, awesome. And I'll hand it off to Ian in just a moment, and he can take you through the rest of the bike. Turn the ignition off. I really enjoyed it. This would be an awesome bike to take on the road and have fun. On a day like today, it's beautiful. We're so lucky. And this bike, I think, will bring a lot of joy to anyone, especially in this budget. So at the time of this video, the bike is available. In fact, it's not even on the website. But when you watch this video, there will be a listing. You can go and check out all the details. It is a spectacular offering in this price range. Hard to beat.
Dmitry did an awesome job showing us how the Suzuki rides and showing off his low-speed balance and maneuvering skills. So now let's learn a bit more about it. So as he mentioned, it's a 2014 Suzuki VL800. It's also known as the Boulevard C50T. So if you look up a Boulevard C50T, this is what will come up, as this is the trim. We can see it has some Boulevard badging, which is all very, very nice, very classy. So with that C50T, trim, T for like touring or for travel, you get this wonderful windshield, to keep the wind off you on those long rides, keep the bugs off you. And we've also got these nice saddlebags, so we'll take a quick look in here. Even the original owner's manual. So that's all very exciting. And a very comfortable seat, as Dmitry mentioned, low seat height. He was very close with his guess of around 29. It's a 27.6 inch seat height. So, you know, even lower, even less intimidating and more comfortable than Dmitry had mentioned. So in relation to calling it the C50, Suzuki actually was relating to the engine size in cubic inches, because this is an 805 cc engine, a V-twin, but in cubic inches it's 49.1. So that's just a little tidbit of information that might be interesting to you. So that's why they called it that. Even though, you know, motorcycles, we generally don't talk about engine sizes on a motorcycle in cubic inches. So this is the Pearl Mirage White color. It's really a stunning color, especially in the sun. It really pops. You can see we have that nice gold pinstripe to divide that kind of pearl color with the white. And then, you know, the chrome accents on the bike, it really just sets it off. I think it's a pretty classic looking machine, especially with the body styling. So talking a little bit about you know, what we did to it, Dmitry mentioned 8,000 miles, single owner, and we did a synthetic oil and filter service. We did our comprehensive motorcycle inspection on it for you know, for your peace of mind, so we know what's going on with it. And we did our motorcycle reconditioning and detailing. So it really does look stunning. So let's talk a bit more about that engine. It's a liquid-cooled single overhead cam, 45-degree V-twin, 52 horsepower, 51 foot-pounds of torque. So with this being kind of like a middleweight kind of cruiser, you know, not like a full-size one, it's not that heavy, only being, you know, 644 pounds, which, like I said, it's a relative middleweight amount of size for a cruiser. So it does get up and go, and it has a lot of that power and torque right down low where you want it. Another cool piece of information, it's a 5-speed gearbox, and it is shaft driven. So we have the nice heel toe shifter, very comfortable. We have a nice place for our foot, and we have the shaft drive going to the left hand side of the bike, which is, you know, relatively maintenance free. So that's very cool, very smooth, very direct. But the cool piece of information, other than the shaft drive, this has a high fifth gear ratio for relaxed, kind of low RPM highway cruising. So that's very nice. You can just hit the road, you know, eat up the miles, and the engine's not screaming at a high RPM, and you're not, you know, devouring fuel. Because these will get around 50 miles to the gallon with that fuel injected V-twin, and they have a 4.1 gallon tank. So a decent amount of range as well for your travels. Talking a little bit about the suspension, we've got 5.5 inches of travel in the front and 4.1 in the rear. And the rear does have a preload adjustment for the spring, which is very nice if you're gonna load up with gear or a passenger. And 5.5 inches of ground clearance, so, you know, speed bumps and rough roads, you don't really have to worry too much there. Getting onto the brakes, a 300 millimeter disc in the front with a 2-piston caliper. You can see a nice clean rotor surface, and it's 60% life remaining on those pads. And we've got a drum brake in the rear, which stops very well. Even Dmitry commented on that after he rode it, and he said it, you know, grabs very well and stops the bike very adequately. And that drum is 180 millimeters if you wanted to know that. And now let me just go over a few of the little minor wear points on the bike. So we have just beautiful chrome, polished up very nicely. And then just something to note is on the lower forks here, you can just see just a little bit of kind of oxidization, just a little bit because of the age and the material of the surface. So that just shows a little bit there. We have a few little kind of scuffs on the windscreen here. So I don't know, it kind of looks like to me maybe something was bumped into the bike when it was maybe stored. And on our side pipes here, just a couple, it'll be hard to see on video, but a couple very minor, see a little scuff there. And there's also a little scuff right here. And we have a little bit of just wear on these side bags. You can see maybe something was like set on them at some point. But you know, overall in very good shape, especially for the year. As Dmitry mentioned, you know, if you took a look at this bike, you know, you'd probably think it's a lot newer than a 2014. So let's check out this dash setup here in the controls. So the key's mounted just on the side of the head tube right here. So turning that on, we did our nice little self-check gauge sweep. We have a little gear indicator. We're in neutral right now, which is why it says gear 0. We have our odometer, our time. We have this nice, I like the kind of white background, white on white speedometer. And we have a fuel gauge, which is awesome too. I love that on, you know, more modern bikes. There's no going by mileage or looking in the tank every once in a while, things of that nature. So obviously on our clutch side, we have our blinkers, horn. Nice feature is the hazards, and then low beam's always on, and then we have our high beam, and then of course flash to pass on the back right here. And on our throttle side, of course, we have our throttle. These grips are very comfortable, by the way. Really, I don't foresee much vibration coming through them. You know, on long rides and such, they're very, very plush. We have our front brake, our electric start button, and then our kill and run switch. So very kind of standard, you know, simple setup. And we have a little bit of multifunction action here on the dash. So using this left button, I can switch from my odometer to trip A, trip B, and then if we're on, let's say trip A, we want to reset that, you use our button on the right and you just hold that down. So all very intuitive and very nice. So turning the ignition back off now. Let me hop off the Suzuki and just give you a couple of my kind of final comments on it. As Dmitry had mentioned, it's really such a great value option to get into a machine like this. It's really so much fun and you know, open road cruising to be had for this kind of money that this bike goes for. So if you are interested, feel free, email us, give us a call. You know, visit alphacars.com, check out the listing. And if the bike is sold when you're viewing this video, I'm sure we have some other options that are going to be to your liking. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us. And even if you're not local, doesn't mean, you know, you can't, you know, make a deal with us. We do arrange transportation as well. So just keep that in mind. So we once again thank Dmitry for that opening segment, showing you how nice this V-twin sounds and how well and balanced it rides. And this section has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough location. And until next time.